Welcome to Discover Ramona, where we highlight the people, places, and businesses that make it the best place to live. I'm your host, Valley, and I'm here with my co-host, Jan Ryan. Hi, Jan.
Hi, Valley. How are you?
I'm wonderful, wonderful. And we were kind of talking a little bit about what are some of the most difficult things about being a real estate agent that, you've kind of learned over the years.
Well, I've heard this actually from so many agents is I've been in the business and they've been in the business a while. And when you talk to a buyer or seller and you have great advice because we do this every day and they won't listen when they just insist on doing it a different way, which I get, it should be a give and take, but sometimes it's just hard to see buyers or sellers make wrong decisions that, ultimately aren't the best for them.
It costs you money.
Yeah.
Costs you money, costs you a lot more than money sometimes.
Yeah. So
right?
my advice, get an experienced agent you trust and trust them. It should be teamwork. We need to listen to you, but it should go both ways for the best results.
Yeah, the best results are a learned skill over time with these realtors. It's not something that you can just get your license and have. You have to develop the skill as a realtor over time. So that's why seasoned agents with a lot of experience are really, I think, the best way to go.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, who do we have today?
Today we have Elaine Lyttleton with Hatfield Creek Vineyards and Winery.
Let's meet her.
Let's meet her.
Hi, Elaine. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. And I know you guys go back quite a bit. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do in Ramona?
Well, I'm an old person. I don't even know where to start on what I do or what I've done a lot. I have Hatfield Creek Vineyards and Winery. I was part of the migration of people who thought they wanted a winery back in 2006 when we became an AVA out there in Ramona. And then a few years later, I started the nonprofit corporation, the Ramona H.E.A.R.T Mural Project, and we've got now 31 murals through downtown Ramona, hoping to stop the tourist traffic, to have lunch, look at the murals, count the heart icons. We have heart icons in every mural. Sometimes only one, sometimes 27.
And I didn't
Kind
know
of like
that.
Where's Waldo?
I didn't know that, Elaine.
And then while you're out of your car, go in the antique stores or whatever.
Yeah.
So we hope that that's working from an economic development standpoint for the whole town of Ramona.
I like that idea.
The murals are amazing.
So both projects, the Vineyard and Winery and the Mural Project, are a lot of work. So I don't sit still very often. This is nice. Thank you very much.
She doesn't. She doesn't. It's amazing because I went up to see Elaine at the winery and she was just coming out of the vineyards from working there. So.
Oh, wow. I like that.
Yeah. Well, we still haven't finished pruning. So the rain has slowed us down. On tomorrow, it's supposed to be sunny for the next 10 days. So I'll be out there every morning for about 3 hours.
Oh,
pruning.
I like that. Keeps you young.
Yeah, right.
And a lot
I used to be able to prune 6 or 7 hours a day, but because of my advancing years, I can only do 3 or 4.
That's so impressive.
Still amazing, yeah.
But it's really the only exercise I get because
Well, that's quite a bit.
occupational exercise.
I like it.
And I remember with the wineries when they started back then, I would hear your name all the time. That's why I'd asked you to come on the show before, because you were always front and center helping other wineries.
Well, we all helped each other back in the day when we all started. We all helped plant each other's vineyards. Some of us were better. When I say us, not me necessarily. John York and Mike Moore.
Oh, yeah.
Were big time learners of winemaking. I was just kind of puttering in my kitchen trying to figure it out. But we all helped each other. I've always been kind of with a bent toward marketing and promotion, so that's kind of where I found my niche to help everybody. And the vineyard work. We all help harvest even, too.
And I have to say this, I learned something about Elaine. I was at the chamber installation, and you got Lifetime Achievement Award, which was amazing. But they mentioned what you did in Carlsbad. So that to me,
Well, so I'm an immigrant farm worker. I, I'm from Canada
oh, that's right.
originally.
Yeah, right, right.
I wasn't a farm worker when I came. I moved to Carlsbad with my husband and family. And my husband, my then husband, nice guy, but no longer around, um, started an accounting and tax practice. And so I was working with him, and I thought, well, all right, I'm going to get involved with. I didn't do accounting and taxes at the time. I did eventually, but I got involved with the Chamber of Commerce down there, and I was doing the marketing and the promotion and volunteering for everything. I mean, you name it, I was president of it.
And that's you, right?
Yeah, I was president of the Friends of the Library, and I was very involved with the Junior Women's Club, and um, they appointed me to the Planning Commission, and I just found it. Every time I volunteer for something, I meet such great people. I learn a lot. I mean, it's better than a university education, I think, volunteering for various organizations. And then I became chairman of the board of the chamber down there, and a year I can't remember. I should have looked it up. But it was the year that Lego Industries were looking to locate their first theme park outside of Denmark. In the U.S. They'd already done one in Windsor, England, but in the U.S., and they were, Carlsbad turned up on their short list of places they were looking for.
Amazing.
So Pete Wilson was the governor at the time, and he jumped in and formed an economic development red team. And I'm I should have looked this up too. He appointed his Secretary of Commerce to form this red team, and so we met once a month in Carlsbad, and the Chamber of Commerce, City of Carlsbad, San Diego Economic Development Corporation.
Yep, I think so.
And people from Sacramento all came down, and we met to strategize how we were going to entice Lego to choose Carlsbad for their theme park. And I was the first, maybe still only, chairman of the board of the Carlsbad Chamber to get sent on an international trade delegation, and we went to Billund, Denmark. You know, I had a couple in my winery this week from Denmark, and he works in Billund, Denmark, which is where he doesn't work for Lego, but that's where he works. I thought that was very small worldish.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we went over there, and they chose. They did eventually choose Carlsbad to build their first U.S. theme park. Well, then some of the citizens of Carlsbad decided they didn't want a theme park in their city, that it would turn Carlsbad into Anaheim. There'd be rock bands and hookers, and like we're going to drop Dad off at the corner with the hooker, and then we're going to take the little ones to the theme park. Anyway, so a friend of mine who was very involved with this whole process, whose family was from Denmark originally, Peter Norby, P-E-D-E-R, Peter Norby, and I ran the Yes on Legoland campaign, an initiative, and we won.
I
Well,
love it.
have you been able to take that experience and apply it to what you're doing now in Ramona?
Oh, I think I've taken all of my experiences and applied them to what I'm doing in Ramona. I was on the committee when Carlsbad first started doing an annual chalk art festival. So I applied a lot of that to our art project in Ramona. But I'm from Vancouver Island originally, in British Columbia, Canada, and there's a town there called Chemainus, and in fact their website is muraltown.ca, and they had a languishing town because the lumber industry at the time was in the toilet. And some of the citizens of Chemainus got together and decided to do a mural project to attract people to their town. So Ramona was kind of in the languishing state, I thought, when I first moved there. I thought, they need some murals.
Yeah,
So that's how that got
I like
going.
that
Such a great idea. And you do walks around the murals too.
We've just
occasionally.
started about 3 years ago. Hanson Elementary School grade 3 teachers actually have kind of got a curriculum that they do around the murals, because the murals depict mostly, not always, but mostly the history of the area, Ramona and San Diego.
That's cool.
And so they asked me to lead tours for their grade 3 students. So I've done that twice. I'll be doing it again this year. And then the Ramona H.E.A.R.T Mural Project is a partner, I don't know what the term is, in the San Diego County Live Well San Diego initiative or
I've heard of that.
Oh.
program. Because we think living well is to do with being around an individual, and that it includes art. And then, of course, we're all about walking to see the murals. So we participate in their Love Your Heart month in February, Live Well San Diego. So we sponsor a blood pressure testing, and then I lead walks around, not all the murals because there's too many and they're too spread out, but the old town part of Ramona.
I love how you just keep giving back and creating
Yeah.
these ideas just to make Ramona just a better place to live. I love it. That
And
it matters to you.
everything you do, from the winery to doing all of this, is amazing. And I told Elaine I'm going to ask you to say this. When you moved to Ramona, what did
Well,
they
I'd
say
been-
in Carlsbad?
A very dear friend of mine who actually was the one who first got me involved with the Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce. He said to me when I announced to him that my new man, Norm Case, and I were moving to Ramona to start a vineyard and a winery, Hap said, "Has anybody warned Ramona you're coming?"
I like
I love
that.
it. I love that.
We've done a lot of amazing things, and I feel like I vaguely recall stopping off at your vineyard. Do you guys have a wine club at your vineyard? You do?
Yep. In fact, we've just put a hold on them. Well, not put a hold.
Too many
Uh,
reservations?
Too many members that weren't really participating, and they weren't coming and picking up their wine during the releases. They weren't coming to any of our events. It's not just about selling wine. It's
Right.
about
I love
creating
that.
a little family. We
Yeah,
do
community.
a second Sunday supper. We do a fourth Friday supper and game night. People could come and participate. You can come help prune if you want. I'll teach you. And so many just weren't. And so I culled. And now we've just reopened the club for
So
new
you prune the
membership.
members.
I pruned the members. That's right, I did.
Yeah, you take that membership seriously. I like that.
And it's a great venue too. I
Well,
mean, I
we've
love
created
the-
a family. I mean, we've got members who come every Friday. There's a table of 10 of them, and they all come around 3 or 3:30, and they visit, and they have snacks and drink our wine, and then they all go for dinner somewhere.
I love it for that. It's
Yeah,
just a way to
but
get
that's-
together.
That's the kind of thing.
So what do I hear about this Lifetime Achievement Award?
What do you know about that?
Well, I think we're surprised.
I was told. Well,
Oh, tell me about that. Yeah.
I'd been nominated as Citizen of the Year. There were 4 of us that were nominated for Citizen of the Year. And I'm, well, all right. I've done quite a lot. I can do that. I wouldn't mind getting that.
Yeah.
So at the awards dinner, January, right? They called all 4 nominees up, and so we were all standing up there. And this lovely lady, Jody Taylor, who I hadn't met till that night, was the recipient of Citizen of the Year. And then the rest of us were all leaving to go back to our dinner tables. And somebody behind me said, "Not you, Elaine, you stay here." Do you know what my first thought was? And I don't know where this came from exactly, but I turned to her and I said, "Am I in trouble?" And then I thought, no, I wouldn't be in trouble. they would have taken me aside privately and told me what I'd done wrong.
Not a public lashing.
Not a public lashing, right? Yeah, and then they started in on all of this. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a Lifetime Achievement Award. And so that's what they gave me for.
Well,
and
it's amazing.
I
Your
kind of-
achievements.
I kind of didn't really hear what they were talking about because I was so bemused about the
Yeah.
whole thing. And I'm looking at my friend Bob Kryzak, who's down there in front, who I'm sure had something to do with that, and going, what's going on? You know, what happened
And
here?
you've done so much, that list went on.
Yeah, but then my thought was, as I've got my award and I'm walking around and leaving and talking to people, and I kept running through my mind, yeah, but I got stuff I have planned for the next 20 years. What I don't have to do.
Yeah.
I don't have to do any of it now.
Right.
Wait. Yeah.
Second achievement.
Yeah, so I don't know what else I can tell you about that, but I guess because of all the things I just told you.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, I feel like on our show too, it's important for us to highlight like standout community members.
Exactly.
And it's not just about the vineyard and it's not just about the murals, but collectively all the things that you do to give back to the community. I think that's why you're here.
Oh,
You nailed it. Yep.
well, thank you. Thank you.
And you're fun.
Well, I hope so. I try to be.
I might take you up on that pruning. That sounds fun.
Oh, it is. It's my favorite part of our whole operation out there. I hate making wine. I really dislike making wine because you work all year in that vineyard, the mowing and the spraying and the pruning and the more pruning and the tucking and the trimming and more spraying and the harvesting all year. And then in the space of like a week in the cellar, you can screw up a whole batch of
Oh,
wine.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, if something gets
Wow.
introduced
Didn't realize that.
there that you didn't notice at the beginning, or
Really?
yeah, it doesn't happen very often, but it's kind of like Russian roulette.
Yeah.
And so I call myself now the executive winemaker because I have two assistant winemakers who are both women, and so we call ourselves the three goddesses. And they do most of the heavy lifting now. But it's my palate. I'm the chief taster.
Okay.
It's what I do
That's
best.
an art. I haven't been able to do that, so
So there's a lot of very good wines out there, but they're in different styles. Different winemakers make wine in the style they like and prefer. And I like a big, bold, dark, dry red wine you can stand your spoon up in. And so that's the kind of wine we make. And that's where our wine club members come from. They like the same kind of wines I do. There's some very fabulous award-winning wines at other winemakers out there that aren't that style, that are also, but have great wine clubs and great customers.
so interesting.
Yeah.
I learned something today. I had no idea.
Yeah, there's different styles of wine.
So even though you're a staple in Ramona, if somebody for some reason hasn't been to your winery, where can they find it?
Well, it's right on Highway 78. As you're leaving Ramona and heading to Julian, it's right there and very well signed. Hatfield Creek Winery
Okay.
on Highway 78.
Okay.
So look for the sign on Highway 78.
And go look at the site. We're actually kind of putting a focus now too, because my husband primarily, but I helped build, I think, a very beautiful space. Everybody says
Yeah.
it's a beautiful space. It's mission style, and a big courtyard, umbrellaed tables, beautiful view of Mount Woodson. I like to look at Mount Woodson. I don't like to hike
Hike
up
Mount
Mount
Actually,
Woodson.
both.
I did hike Mount Woodson once when I was young, but
It's
yeah, it's very
a good
steep.
hike. Yeah.
We've got a dining pavilion in the vineyard. We've got a generous tasting room. We do our suppers. We can handle 30 odd people at sitting around tables. So we're starting to promote the venues.
Okay.
You too can have your 60th birthday party here, or
You had
we've
Sir Optimus
got
there.
it. Yeah, Sir Optimus meet once a month. We've got a young couple who are going to have their engagement party there in June. with their families. So,
Beautiful.
yeah.
All right, we'll have to take a look.
Yeah, you have to come out
Come
and
back
check it
by, I
out.
think.
Weather is
Pretty sure it's
starting
come
to
back by.
improve, and the vines look kind of naked and dead looking right now, but they're starting to pop. And
Okay.
it'll be lush and green in the next month. Which is
All
why
Yeah.
you need to come help prune.
Okay, I'll be there. Well, it was lovely, lovely to meet you, Elaine, and thank you for all that you do for the community and San Diego in general. You're definitely deserving of that.
Can I go
lifetime achievement.
camping now?
Yes, you can go camping now.
I had to cancel my camping trip for next
Well-
week because
well-
I haven't finished pruning.
Oh,
Well, thank you for being on our show and all the things you do.
Okay, thank you.
thanks for coming.
Thank
Thanks
you.
all for watching Discover Ramona, and we'll see you next time.